Hey guys, thanks for joining. We might kick off here. I just wanted to welcome you all to our second webinar on this topic. We had one yesterday. My name's Jai, for those who haven't met me before, I haven't met you. I am the FAE and trainer for BenQ Australia. My role essentially is to go around and train our distributors, our resellers, and our end users as well, right around the country on our products to help them get the most benefit out of those products. Today we've got a couple of things to show you, a brand new feature that only came out a couple of weeks back as well, that we're pretty excited about. So without further ado, I'm just going to share this screen and we'll get into the agenda and we'll take a look at and see what we've got in store there for us this afternoon. All right, so the agenda, we've separated into an on-campus or in-office scenario and also an off-campus or out-of-office scenario as well. So for the on-campus and in-office, we'll be looking at germ-resistant screen, which a lot of you are already familiar with, but it's a pertinent topic at the moment with the current global crisis that we're facing. We'll have a quick look at Xline broadcast and how that can help you communicate within the office space or the classroom. And we'll also have a look at EZWrite 5 and that cloud whiteboard feature, which is obviously a really important feature that we can take advantage of with this kind of influx situation we have where some students being at school, some being at home, and also in the meeting space where a lot of people are working from home currently. And then for off-campus or out of office, we'll have a look at our brand new feature, which is known as EZWrite 5 Live. And this is another extension to our cloud whiteboard solution. At the end, we'll have a brief recap, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end as well. If you do have any questions as we're sort of rolling through the webinar today, please just feel free to type them in chat, and we'll answer those as we go. I know we've got a few BenQers in the chat that are happy to help you out as we move along, and we'll also cover those questions again at the end as well. But let's jump into on-campus and in-office with germ-resistant screen. So a lot of you are familiar with this technology. It is unique technology to BenQ. It's been in the market now for a couple of years, and there's no better time than now to really reinforce this feature of the BenQ RP series panels. For those who are familiar with this, obviously we're talking about this ionic silver coating that we coat our screens with the RP series. And what this does essentially is break down the cell division of those germs and bacteria on the screen. It has an over 99% strike rate there as well. And so with BenQ, we have this really strong focus on a healthy learning environment or a healthy meeting environment. And germ-resistant screen is sort of the feather in our cap when it comes to that. It is really important. We're talking about health and hygiene in schools and in society in general right now. It's the hottest topic, obviously, and it's really come to light just how important a feature like this is. So I just wanted to really stress this feature and bring it to light again, bring it to the forefront of your minds that our RP series panels have this technology, and it's going to be one of those essential things that schools in particular look out for moving forward too. Moving on from that, we'll have a quick look at Xline Broadcast. So a lot of you are familiar with Xline Broadcast. It's our instant or scheduled messaging system that's available both on our RP and RM panels. With this feature, we're able to broadcast messages instantly or via a schedule to any of the panels within that school, within that organization. And the great thing about this and how this is relevant right now is obviously trying to get this information out about the COVID-19 situation. Whether it be in a classroom where students are still attending, we're able to put out messages in regards to health and hygiene to remind them to wash their hands thoroughly or use hand sanitizer when they're going on breaks or coming back from lunch, for instance. But apart from that whole health situation that we have going on at the moment, we've found that schools in particular are using this feature on a daily basis. And some of the scenarios that we've seen schools use this is to play a national anthem at the beginning of the day, or maybe the principal has a morning message or an afternoon message before students leave class, and they're able to either film that message or type it in text, and this will support either text, video, or image files as well. And then they're able to send those messages out to each classroom or to groups of panels. So it may even not be a total school message. It may be specific for a certain grade of school or in the corporate or in the organization. They may want to send out a reminder to certain floors or to certain meeting spaces as well. So it is a really handy feature. it's one of those features that is quite unique to BenQ. I know a lot of other manufacturers have a similar system, but probably not as robust and feature-packed as this one here. And for the basic Xline broadcast system, it's completely free to use on your panels as well. And so a system administrator can send out a message, like I mentioned before, text, image, or video directly to those panels. So I just wanted to sort of advertise this feature again, this solution. It's a really great solution, and it's something that was brought to us to BenQ from schools. It's not one of those features that we just decided to look into and then push onto those schools. It was about schools coming to us and saying, hey, this would be a really handy feature. And so then we looked at that request and developed Xline Broadcast from there. So it's a really relevant feature. We're getting a lot of great feedback about it. And right now, as far as school announcements and safety or health reminders, it's a really great feature to talk about or look into if you do have BenQ panels in your organization or school. What I want to do now is actually jump in and talk about EZWrite 5 Cloud Whiteboard. So you should be able to see my IFP now. I'm just going to bounce into EZWrite. And what this allows us to do here is, we're used to a normal whiteboarding scenario, but I want to jump down here into the bottom left-hand corner and have a look at the little person here with the plus symbol. And this is our Cloud Whiteboard. Once I press him, it gives us a little menu pop up there, which allows us to either invite or join an existing room. I'll talk about the join feature just quickly. With joining, we can actually link BenQ panels here. So if we have a couple of different classrooms that we want to join to the same whiteboarding session, we can do that. Or if we have in the corporate space, in the organization space, if we have BenQ panels interstate, we can essentially join those panels and join in the same meeting experience there as well. So it's a really handy tool to use in that regard. But what we might have a look at now is having a look at inviting. So if I click on the invite option here, this brings up a QR code. So people within that same meeting space or that same classroom, they're able to join via their own devices just by scanning that QR code. But if we have people that don't have QR code capable devices, or they're using a laptop or their own device outside of that meeting space or that classroom, they can simply just jump into their browser, either Chrome or Safari, and type in this web address here and go to that website. Once they're there, they can just simply type in their name and type in their room ID and join this live session. The reason I wanted to talk about EZWrite Cloud Whiteboard briefly, I know a lot of you are familiar with this feature, and it's a really great feature. With this kind of situation we're in at the moment, we're in a lot of limbo, particularly in education. They're not used to being able to teach via distance or remotely. I know in the meeting space, a lot of organizations are used to sort of having these remote meetings or having these video conferencing solutions. But I just wanted to bring this back into the forefront of people's minds. So for those who are using BenQ panels currently, this is a great feature to still communicate, particularly in the education space with teachers with students, and still engage them and collaborate with those students on a daily basis. This is a free service, obviously, once again, and so they can just provide this link information with the website and the room ID, and students are able to jump in there and start having a look at what the teacher's doing on the whiteboard, essentially. It's like a virtual whiteboard. But not only can students see what the host is doing or what the teacher is doing, they can also join and interact and collaborate themselves. So if we have a look at this option next to that little man with the plus symbol, this is our permission setting. And what this allows us to do is actually swap over the co-creation mode and allow students to annotate, to add their own images, to use sticky notes, to really get their ideas across to the teacher and collaborate on those in-house projects as well. So this is a great tool, not just as a virtual whiteboard, but to allow that interactivity and that collaboration, which is really important right now with a lot of students being based out of home. They're able to engage with their fellow students and with their teacher there on a daily basis as well. And once we're done there, so we can just jump back and forth between co-creation and broadcast. Someone's jumping in there right now. And then the teacher has that ability just to shut out co-creation as well and swap back to broadcast. Thanks, Sanjay. All right, that's great. So Sanjay just added a post-it note there. Once we're done with this, we can just simply hit the stop activities button, and that will just end that whiteboarding session, that cloud whiteboarding session. The great thing about Cloud Whiteboard too is that Students can save a copy of this on their own device just using the little disk icon there, the save icon, and that'll just save it as a PDF document, and then they're able to access that later on their own devices as well. And as a host, I could save that locally to the panel too. So once we're done with that, we can just hit the Stop Activities button, and that'll end that cloud whiteboarding session. Like I said, I've been through this with a lot of you in the past. I'm running through how feature packed this is and what a useful feature is. Obviously, with the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic at the moment, this is something that's really useful. Like I mentioned before, we're in that limbo state where some students are still in the classroom, some are at home, and this is a great feature to bring those students together, even though they can't be physically in that virtual space. So this sort of crosses that divide there where I was talking about on campus and off campus before. This is a great solution and the solution to use if we're kind of in that limbo state where some people are physically there at school and some are still residing at home there. All right, so I'll just go back to my screen here. And now what I want to do is actually jump into EZWrite 5 Live. So this is our new feature. Like I mentioned, it's only been out for a couple of weeks now, essentially. And what this is about, it's sort of like, consider it an extension to our cloud whiteboard as such. So it's BenQ's new web-based collaborative whiteboarding solution. And to access this, similarly to what we just looked at on the cloud whiteboard, all they need is a Chrome, Safari, or Firefox browser and an internet connection on their own personal device. And all you have to do here is visit EZWrite.BenQ.com. And I'll go through these kind of features you can see on the right-hand side now as well. This is the overall user interface, but what I might show you is actually just how easy it is to set up an account or to log in and join a session. You noticed before, I can just go to EZWrite.BenQ.com. So it's the same website that we saw on our Cloud Whiteboard previously, but you'll notice here now, for those who have used Cloud Whiteboard in the past, not only can we join a room, but we can actually create a room directly from our browser. So if I click on this create a room, that'll launch me into the service portal. So to create a room, you need to set up an AMS or an IAM account. A lot of schools are already using this portal, and a lot of organizations are using this portal as well for their AMS or DMS or Xsign broadcast too. But to create a room, we need to log in or set up an account. And to do that, we would do that from this website. And you can see down the bottom right-hand corner here, we can register as an admin account here. For those people who are already using AMS or DMS, your accounts should already work to be able to log you in. If you're a teacher from an organization and you're not sure, your IT manager or your personnel there from the school would know, and the same for corporations as well. They'd be able to help you out with that. One point I'd like to make before I go into the sign-up process here and how to create an account is that to join a room that you saw before with that second option, you don't actually need an account to do that. So if we talk about the classroom space, it would only be the teacher who would actually need to set up an account. The students can join without having to go through this process. But let's jump into it. So we're going to hit the register admins only. This brings up a small message here which allows us which prompts us that this is for an admin account. For general users, they don't have to do this, and we're just going to hit the click here option. And this will show us just a little sign up. So it's very similar to any other online account that you've ever set up in your life. If you've set up like a banking account or an email address before, this is exactly the same kind of process. So all we have to do here is just input our email address. We can create our own unique account ID. I just use my name usually so I remember it. We just need to create a password and obviously confirm that password. And then we just need name, industry, company, and the country that you're from, and obviously the time zone there. You'll notice at the bottom of this short form, there's just a couple of tick boxes there. One is to agree to the following items. The agreement items are here. It's just in relation to the service that we're providing and solution that we're providing. And once you're happy with those agreement items, you can just tick the box. And then the second box here is letting you know that BenQ may contact you for system administration or maintenance issues going forward. So system related information. And like I said, that's generally in regard to any server maintenance we may be performing or any instances where we're upgrading the service, and we'll just let you know via email there. There's no spam involved with this. It's simply related to those specific functions. So once you're happy with that, you just hit the other text box and hit submit. Once you've submitted, it'll send an email to the email address you supplied earlier in this form at the top there. And once that email has been provided, you just click on the verification link within that email, and that will verify your account straight away, instantly. And then you're able to jump in and log in and use that EZWrite 5 live service. Usually the email, we can say it can take up to a couple of hours depending on server load, but in my experience, it's generally come through straight away as soon as I've hit that submit button. Just remember to check your spam folders or your junk mail folders for that email, just in case it's hiding in there as well. But once we've received that email and we've verified that account, we can then jump into the portal here, and I'll just use my credentials here to log in. Once we log in here, it'll load. Obviously, this is web-based, which is Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, and this will load our whiteboarding session. And this is a screen that you'll notice is very familiar to us because we just saw a very similar screen on our cloud whiteboard on our BenQ IFP before. So once again, we can just start annotating on here as well. It supports one-pointer touch, so if you're using a touch device, you'll be able to use that, or on your laptops, you can use your trackpad with mouse or cursor there as well. So we can start annotating. We have a select tool here, so we can select. We can erase, so I can select the erase option, whether that's a full screen erase or just individual annotation or images. And then I have the sticky note function here as well. So we've digitized the sticky note, so you can just type in simple messages here, change the color, and add those to the session as well. And then you're able to move those around the screen, or you can re-edit those just using the little pen icon there as well. Next to that, we can actually add our own images, so our own photos on our devices, whether that's laptop, tablet, or phone. And then as the host, I can actually input a PDF document there too that I've stored locally, and import that document and then annotate over the top of that, or make it add images to that document too. Going across to the right hand side, we can actually just hit this scroll button, and what this scroll icon does is bring up a whole bunch of different background templates that we can use. For those who have used our IFPs before, it's a very similar setup to that. So if we're doing sort of a checklist, we could have a checklist background there. If we're holding a music class, we could use manuscript paper. If we go across here, we even have handwriting templates and that kind of thing as well. But the great thing about this background template option is that you can see the plus symbol here. And so I could actually add my own template or my own background picture there. So if I'm doing something like geography, I'm just going to add my own map to the background there. And the great thing about these backgrounds is that they literally anchor to the back of that document. So any annotation or any images or sticky notes you add on top of that will actually stay on top of that document. As you can see there with that sticky note still staying on top there. So it's a great feature. I know a lot of people are using Zoom and video conferencing options at the moment that have sort of general whiteboarding functionality in there. But I think this background function and being able to anchor this template to the back is one of those features that make EZWrite 5 Live stand out from the rest as well. So that's a really great feature. Next door to that, you'll notice in the bottom right hand corner here, we have a page number. So similarly to how our EZWrite 5 works on our IFPs, this works on a page system similar to like a PowerPoint or a PDF document. And we can actually have up to 40 pages in one whiteboarding session. So there's plenty of whiteboarding space there for the teacher to use and for students to get involved as well. So we can just simply add pages by clicking the plus symbol there, and this will carry that template over to the next page as well, and then we can go back into our templates and change that individually. If I click on the page number here, you'll notice that I can actually see the pages. I can see a thumbnail there as well, and then I can simply click and drag these pages around and renumber those pages within that whiteboarding session. And from this menu, you can obviously add another page there if I like, or I can delete a page using this feature here too. So it's really easy to access those pages and see where you are within that whiteboarding document if you like. Going back over to the left-hand side, we can exit the application here. I mentioned before that we can actually save the document within the cloud whiteboard, and we can do that within EZWrite 5 Live too. So with EZWrite 5 Live, we can just hit the save icon, and then I can save this as a PDF document. You can see there that it's exporting that document now, and that'll just save it to my own device. So whether it's a laptop or a phone, whatever device you're using there, you can see there it's accessible right there. And because it's a PDF document, I can open that up on pretty much any device that'll recognize that format. So it's great to review meeting minutes to see what's going on later on at a later date and review the collaborative session there, or in the classroom for teachers to review that session and see how the students have progressed from there, or to send it on to a student who wasn't actually able to join that session at the time for them to review themselves. And next door to that, we have a record feature. So what's great about EZWrite 5 Live is that just like our cloud whiteboard, we can actually record the session too. So if I hit the record feature, it comes up as sharing the screen here, and I can share both the visual component and the audio component as well. And then once I select that, I can just hit the share button, and that'll start recording. You can see there it has a share feature there too. So this is recording. Once I hit, you'll notice this record button has hit the has changed to a stop square. So once I hit that, it'll start playing back, and we'll get a bit of feedback here. And that'll start recording. You can see there it has a share feature there too. So I'm just going to pause that recording, so it'll instantly play back there, which is a great feature. And from there, I can just save that recording. So that just opens up as a different tab in my browser essentially. So it makes it really easy to save that, and we just save that as what we call a WebM file. And that WebM file you're able to play on a media player like VLC, for instance. Okay, so really easy to do that and use that feature as well. And then students will be able to, you could send them to students or colleagues who haven't made that classroom session or that meeting session, and then they can just play that back and listen to the host speak and see what's going on within that meeting or that learning space as well, and open it up on, like I said, like a VLC player on their own device. But what I haven't mentioned so far is that how we can add people and how we can get people in and join this session as well. So just like Cloud Whiteboard, we can hit the little man with the plus symbol here, and this brings up exactly the same kind of menu that we're used to. So if people are in the same space, they can scan on their QR code, or they can just go to the website listed there as well and enter that room ID. And so we can see a couple of people joining now, jumping in, going nuts. And so once they've jumped in, they can see exactly what's going on. So one point I want to make here is that a teacher could set up an existing session and go through and number all the pages, import their backgrounds or their documents, and have it ready to go. So when they start inviting students in, their session's already pre-made essentially. So it's a really great feature. They don't have to sort of work out their session on the fly. They can pre-make this and load it into their browser, and then the students can dive in and they can just start working straight away. So it's a great feature in that regard. Next door to that, similarly to the Cloud Whiteboard, we have another symbol here, and I can see the participants that have joined this session. And you'll notice down the bottom we have, once again, broadcast or co-creation mode. And so once again, the host or the teacher or the meeting host can simply select whether they just want to be able to annotate and contribute, or whether they want the rest of those participants in that meeting space or that learning space to contribute with co-creation mode as well. We also have what we would call a participant list. So with our participant list, we can see exactly who's joined, depending on the name they've put in there as well. But the great thing about this participant list is that it incorporates a feature that we call live streaming or video conferencing. And this allows you to have a one-on-one video conferencing session with people who have joined as well. So only the host has access to this menu, so only the teacher or the meeting host would be able to select to have a video conferencing or a live stream with one of the other participants there. Participants can't live stream with each other, if that makes sense. So if I just select Dan here, you'll see a little connecting symbol come up. On Dan's computer, he'll have a call that's incoming there as well, and he can just select the call symbol and answer that call there as well. So once he's accepted, you'll notice that the video comes up down in the bottom here. I don't think it's showing up there, and the reason it's not showing up on my screen is because I'm capturing through Zoom at the moment, so it's only using the camera in Zoom, but we'd be able to see Dan's camera there, and Dan would be able to see me as well. We can obviously mute our own mic, we can turn our own camera off, or we can expand this as well to a bigger screen, and then we can just minimize that as well. Trust me, the video conferencing option works. We can also move this screen around to different parts of our screen too. So if it's sort of in the way of what we're trying to demonstrate or talk about and collaborate, we can just move that away. And then we can also just minimize that and just have our voice for having a conversation there as well. So really nifty feature. To exit this, we just hit the end call button there. So just using sort of generic universal icons there. And then we could start another call with another meeting participant. Like I said, at the moment, it is a one-to-one conferencing solution or live streaming solution. Whether that changes going forward, it may or may not. We'll see what happens there. And that brings me to the next point. So similarly to how we support our panels and continue to update our software in that regard, we will do the same with this EZWrite 5 Live solution that we've provided here as well. Like I said, it's only a couple of weeks old, and so far we've already seen an improvement with it, an update with it, where initially at launch we've just been able to have 15 pages down the bottom here, and we've already expanded that to 40 pages now. So this is a solution that will continue to grow and continue to evolve, and a solution that BenQ will continue to support going forward. Once again, without harping on the pandemic situation, everyone's sick of hearing about it, but there's been no greater time than now to have a feature like this come to the marketplace. And I know a lot of people are using Skype for Business or Zoom, particularly in education at the moment. And we're not trying to get people to change from those current solutions. Those are great video conferencing solutions. With EZWrite 5 Live, it's about adding to that overall, that holistic approach and having that entire solution there. And we think the whiteboarding solution that we're offering here is really great. It's quite unique and quite robust. And it works well in conjunction with using those video conferencing solutions as well. So you might just have Zoom running in the background, just like I'm doing right now. And the teacher might just want to have that for voice communication, but use this EZWrite 5 Live solution for that visual component. And it also eliminates those distractions of having people on camera as well, that I know a lot of teachers are struggling with those in-home distractions at the moment too. But that's EZWrite 5 Live in a nutshell. I saw a question come up there briefly, so I'll just talk about participants. There's no hard limit to the participants that you can have in that whiteboarding session. So you could have a classroom full of students, or a small to medium-sized meeting full of participants in there as well with that. So it opens up those options as well without being limited to a certain size. But if you have the classroom full of people in there, it'll support that for sure. And that's EZWrite 5 Live. I'm just going to go back to my presentation really quickly. Have a quick look at that. So once again, I'll just run through the overall interface here. So we can leave the room, we can save the session as a PDF, we can record it as a WebM file that we can open up on like a VLC player. We have broadcast and co-creation mode, and we can see that participant list and have that live streaming or that video conferencing solution one-to-one there as well with the host and another participant. We've also got our standard pen colors. We can erase, we can add digital sticky notes, and we can input a photo or as a host a PDF file as well. The background image option is great for those templates that may be pre-made, or there's some pre-loaded in there. And then obviously we have that page system as well with a maximum of 40 pages currently too. So let's have a recap of EZWrite 5 Live. I've kind of breezed through this really quickly. I'm a bit conscious of time here. So to create a room, we need an account, and that can be an IAM or AMS account. It's really easy to sign up. You saw me do that previously. But as a person who wants to join one of those rooms, you don't need an account to do that. So students or meeting participants can just jump straight in and join that session. It's installation free because it's browser based. You can join easily, like we mentioned before. There's interaction and collaboration with that co-creation mode there as well. And we have that one-to-one live streaming or video conferencing solution built into that EZWrite 5 Live too. It has one point of touch, so you can use your touch devices. We can import pictures or PDF documents, and the browser support there incorporates Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So let's have a quick recap of the entire webinar, because we're coming to a close here before Q&A. So we had a look at our on-campus or in-office solution. We touched on germ-resistant screen and how important that is now more so than ever, and how great that technology is at keeping a healthy and hygienic workplace or classroom. We had a look at Xline Broadcast, which is a great notification system or community notice board solution for classrooms to display text, image, or video straight to those BenQ panels. And we had a look at EZWrite 5 Cloud Whiteboard. Now I've put this under on-campus, but it's also an off-campus solution there as well. So if we still have a classroom situation, for instance, and there's a teacher and a few students in that classroom, and then the rest of the class may be at home, This is a solution with EZWrite 5 Cloud Whiteboard that allows both of those categories to join that same session and interact and collaborate and learn and brainstorm in that capacity. So that sort of crosses the boundaries there of being on location or off location too. And then we had a look at the off location scenario where with EZWrite 5 Live, we're able to grab people from anywhere in the world to join that whiteboarding session. All they need is a host that has an IAM or AMS account, and then just a group of participants who can join without an account. And we can experience that interactivity and that collaboration mode within there as well, saving that document for a later date via PDF or recording that via a WebM file as well. And that's the beauty of the solutions that BenQ currently offer. We're sort of covering that broad spectrum or that influx situation where we sort of have people dispersed across geographical regions or off location, and we're able to accommodate all those people with both our solutions and with our BenQ IFP, our RP series panels, but also just via web browser. And it's really easy for people to set up and get going straight away without having to read dense manuals and looking at tutorials of how to use it. But having said that, just in case, I've already recorded a session on how to use EZWrite 5 Live. There's a video available for you. I think Sanjay's posted it in chat there with a Dropbox link. It's also available on our social media. So I believe Dan's posted it on our LinkedIn account as well. So you can view those there and link people to that tutorial on how to access and how to set up and get going with EZWrite 5 Live too. So that brings us to Q&A. I've just got a couple of links there as well. So for more information, you can obviously visit our company website at benq.com.au. Also, throw us a follow on LinkedIn. We're always posting updates there. Now more so than ever, that BenQ, a lot of BenQers are actually working from home too. So it's a great source of information there on any new features or any new tutorials that we're doing or any new products that we're releasing there too. Or if you have any questions that you haven't asked or they sort of come up in the future, feel free to email me directly. My email address is there on the screen. It's just jai.chillingworth@benq.com, and I'd be more than happy to help you out going forward. All right, I think I've spoken enough. We might jump over the Q&A. I've had Dan compose a list of questions that have been answered. We might just reiterate some of the ones that have already been answered there. But Dan, do we have some questions?
We certainly do, John.
All right. What do we got?
Going back a little bit, Eddie asked about Exxon Broadcast. So is Exxon Broadcast available on RM and RP series?
Yes.
The short answer is yes.
Yes, that's the only answer you need.
Feature-wise, so basic, Exxon Broadcast Basic is available on both.
So basic for sure. I believe, Sanjay, you might want to clarify this, but I believe the premium features will also be available. I don't know if they currently are, but I believe we're working on that at the moment. Sanjay might need to confirm that for me though.
Okay. Finney had a question. Multiple pages will generate multiple pages on the PDF file when it's exported in EZWrite 5 Live. Correct,
Finney. So it will record and it'll compose all those pages that we've used in that EZWrite 5 Live document and save those to the PDF as well. So each whiteboard page will save as an independent page within the same PDF document.
So basic license is free. You don't need to have a license. It's available on both RM and RP, even CP series. For premium feature, which includes file sharing, you need a premium license, and we are working in the background to get the pricing out for the premium license. The feature is out live already. It's just taking some backend stuff to get these things sorted from the pricing point of view.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sanjay. So to confirm, definitely available on RP series. We're working on RM for the premium features, but for basic at the moment, it's ready to go. You guys can jump in and use that on RP or RM panels. What else do we have?
Lauren asked a couple of questions,
yes.
And you already answered one of them about participants for EZWrite 5 Live. You've already gone through that.
Yeah, number of participants.
Participants.
Yep.
And then is it free to anyone, or do you have to have a BenQ IFP?
It's free to anyone. So all they need to do is set up an IAM or AMS account, but there's no fees involved. So they may not have a BenQ panel. They may just want to jump in and use our whiteboard, and that's okay with us. And the reason it's okay is that we want to show off these features, and we want to show them what our BenQ panels are capable of as well. And the great thing is too, Lauren, is that when they go back to the classroom and this whole environment, this situation normalizes, they can take what they've learnt from that EZWrite 5 live session and apply it to the BenQ panel straight away and get up and running with EZWrite 5 on the panel itself. So there's a great crossover opportunity there as well, and they'll be able to use those features and those solutions that they've become really familiar with.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Neil asked, can the teachers see all the students on their screen?
So they'll be able to see their names, Neil. They won't be able to see a video like we can on Skype, for instance, because with our video conferencing solution, they just have, it's a one-to-one solution. So the students actually won't be able to see the participant list, only the host will be able to see that. So the students won't know who's in the session unless the host lets them know about that.
And if the teacher wants to see all the participants in the class, that's where they would utilize Zoom for the...
That's right. So yeah, if we're talking about visually being able to see people via video camera all at the same time, you would use an existing solution in conjunction with that EZWrite 5 Live, like Zoom or like Skype, if that's what they wanted to do. I know a lot of the feedback we're getting from teachers is they find video conferencing, the video component of that, quite distracting. Because there's a lot of distractions within the home, whether it's family pets or other family members as well. So I know a lot of students are sort of steering away from having that video on screen all the time and just trying to limit that just so students can focus on what's important. But yes, to get that visual component, you would use an existing video conferencing solution.
Or you can do one-to-one.
Or one-to-one within EZWrite 5 Live, exactly. So the host would be able to just contact those students independently and have that kind of session with them.
Glenn asks, is there a feedback channel in the text like this? I'm assuming he's meaning Zoom. So teacher audio broadcast and answers back in the chat.
Gotcha. So there's no chat function currently. Whether that's something that we have a look at down the track, but for now, it's only via that live streaming function, Glenn. So once again, if you wanted that chat feature, you could utilize a program like Zoom, or if we're just looking at voice and chat, there's programs like Discord, for instance, that they could run independently and utilize that feature there too.
We've got one from Joe. When inviting students to the admin generates a QR code and also then sees the website and room number, they would just send this via email to the students.
Yeah, however they like, Joe, that's right, mate. So if they're already in like a video conferencing program, they could type that in the chat, obviously, or they could email it out to their students. Or if they're using sort of like a universal shared drive, like a OneDrive, for instance, they might just take a photo and load it into that drive that students can access and join that meeting space from there or that education space from there.
Or if they had set up a Zoom conference before,
exactly,
they'd
yeah,
be able to drop it in the
that's right. So either way, either in the chat of the video conferencing solution that they're using, or via any other means, whether it be email or a shared drive.
Beautiful. That's all the questions in the chat so far. Feel free, anyone, to drop any more.
Yeah, if you've got any more questions, guys, jump into the chat and we can answer those. Like I said, if you do have other questions, and I'm sure once you start using this solution, particularly with EZWrite 5 Live, questions will pop up. You can contact me directly via email as well. And I'm more than happy to help you out with it, whether it's trying to come up with the right solution for yourself or for your clients or whatever the situation may be. Please feel free to reach out, and I'll see how best I can help you from there. But if that's it, we might just leave it there. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank you guys so much for joining the session today. I'm sorry it ran over a little bit there, but I really appreciate your time. I know it's a really stressful situation that we're all trying to do our best with to cope with and provide these solutions. And hopefully this is a step in the right direction for you to go out there and help your colleagues, or if you're an educator, help your students or if you're a reseller and one of our distributors, hopefully this gives you another weapon in your arsenal to help out your customers there as well. So thank you so much for joining.
And just one more thing before we go, I'll be sending out material to everybody. Whoever's registered, and I've got your email address, I'll send out material from today's session, some brochures, the links to the EZWrite 5 live video that we did as well on YouTube.
Yep.
So just wait around early next week. I'll be sending that through. So check your inboxes for that.
We've also recorded this webinar and that will be made available as well. So thank you so much for joining, and hopefully I'll be able to catch up with you in real time really soon. Take care, guys, and stay safe. Thank you.